Hello and welcome to a new episode of Under 360 English. Today we are going to discuss about National Logistics Policy and which all companies are going to benefit out of this National Logistics Policy, or abbreviated as NLP. In this episode we are going to give a glimpse of National Logistics Policy, the key targets of National Logistics Policy, and what are the steps and components involved in that, and finally the sectors or companies that directly or indirectly benefited out of this. So stay tuned, keep watching. In the logistics business, that's a 200 billion US dollar business. But unfortunately, when compared to any of the developing economies or even developed economies, in the Americas or in the Europe, the cost involved in transporting goods is on the higher side. Eventually, this retards or at least pull back the growth momentum, because as logistics cost increases, right from the manufacturing industry, the cost of production increases, and this makes adverse effect for the companies when it comes to international competitions on the same sector. When we compare the logistics costs involved through various means of transport, we can find that the air, that's a 18 rupee per ton to transport, and by road that's 3.6 rupees, by water that's 2 rupee, and rail that's the cheapest, just 1 rupee 60 paise per kilometer per ton. But unfortunately, though the rail transport looks cheaper, the connectivity of rail networks makes the transportation a bit complex, as well as the overall cost become expensive when compared to other modes of transport. For example, so if you book a consignment from Delhi to Indore, the load need to be taken to the nearest railway loading platform by using a lorry, and then unload it, reload that to the wagon. Again, the same thing you have to do there at Indore also. Unload it, reload that to the lorry, and lorry need to take the consignment to the destination. So multiple loading and reloading and multiple use of modes of transport makes the effective cost not that expensive, though rail network looks attractive in terms of cost. That's the reason why almost 71% of the goods transit that takes place by road, and rail network that just 18%, and water and everything rest of the remaining nearly 10 to 20%. So as a solution to resolve this, an efficient as well as an optimized logistic network has been proposed in National Logistics Policy. It envisions the interconnectivity of various modes of logistics and efficient and optimized scheduling of logistics means, and also to provide a unified digital platform to implement these ideas. So the key targets of NLP, National Logistics Policy, is first one is the cost, reduce the cost, and that must be comparable to the global benchmark by 2030, and to improve the logistics performance index ranking. And our government is envisioning to take our logistics index to the first 25 countries across the globe by 2030, and also to create an ecosystem which is data-driven decision support mechanism for an efficient logistics implementation that needs IT support. When compared to any of the developed countries or in the developing countries, the trucks in India, they are hardly running for half of the days in a month. The average running days are just 12 to 16 days only. So what happened rest of the days? Are they not willing to run? No, it's not like that. For example, if a truck is going from Mumbai to Chennai, after unloading the load, they have to wait either there to get the next load from there, from Chennai to Mumbai. Till then, the truck will be idle, it will stay back there, or they have to take an empty truck back to the hometown. So this eventually increase the cost of transportation and uneconomical for the truck owners. I have taken this in the case of trucks only. The same thing is applicable for other modes of transport also. If a vessel is coming from any of the ports from Gujarat to Cochin by taking some cement or anything, when they go back as an unloaded vessel, when they go back as an empty vessel, that increases the cost and makes the vessel owner operation uneconomical. So as a solution for this, to connect all the customers that needs logistic service and the logistics service providers. A unified platform is what envisioning. Just in the case of our UPI payment system, the banks are coming to a unified platform and you can transfer funds from one bank to another irrespective of the bank or branch or anything, and instantaneous transfer is possible. Same way, here also a unified logistics platform that connects the logistics service provider as well as the customers. In order to optimize the services, a very strong IT infrastructure is needed. That's the key component of National Logistics Policy. So now let's have a look on the 4 major steps under National Logistics Policy. The first one is integration of digital systems. We know that 30 different systems of 7 different departments will be integrated digitally, including the road transport, railway, customs, aviation, foreign trade, and commerce ministries, so that the cargo movement will be easier and time lag can be avoided. The second step is the unified logistics interface platform. That's the digital platform that we have discussed earlier, that will optimize and find the service provider, and that will provide a unified platform for the service provider as well as for the customer. And the third step is the ease of logistics, ELA. This new policy will be implemented to simplify the rules and ease of logistics business, especially that take away the red tapes or any of the administrative lags that happen from the government side. And government is envisioning a system improvement group, SIG, that monitors all logistics related projects regularly, and it will track all obstacles that arise in due course. Now let's have a look on what are the difficulties that we are going to face while implementing this new logistics policy. The first one is obviously the digital or internet connectivity hurdles that we are facing in India. Majority of the trucks that basically belongs to the rural India. So right now, we can't expect that all these trucks as well as other small logistics provider that can be connected to this platform. So execution is one concern. One of the main concern is about the existing logistics players when they enjoy some undue profits due to this lag, or some people used to be. So we have to wait and watch that these kind of privileged class will keep posting difficulties to implement this policy. Now let's discuss about which all sectors, which all companies that will get benefits out of this. A common man's perception about national logistics policy is that the companies involved in logistics or transportation will get benefited the most. But unfortunately, it's not like that. Sometimes those companies may even impacted adversely. Because when logistics become optimized, there may arise some low-cost solution providers. This may eventually hamper the profit margin of bigger players. So directly, we can say that some of the sectors like e-commerce or export industry or energy sector, manufacturing, especially the heavy manufacturing industries like cement or steel or that sector, and also smaller suppressed transportation companies, they will be benefited out of this policy. Because National Logistics Policy envisioning to bring down at least 10 to 20% of logistics costs. This actually gives a better edge for all the companies which offers goods to their customers, which involves intense transportation. Because as the cost of transportation decreases, they can offer goods at a competitive rate. They can even offer a competitive rate that's at par with the international players or smaller players. So obviously e-commerce industry will be benefited out of that. Export companies also the same thing, from the manufacturing site to either to the port or airport or seaport, whatever it is, when they can able to reduce the cost of transportation, obviously they can offer the goods at a competitive rate and they can compete with international players. So their margins also will improve. We know that majority of the energy generating companies, electricity generating companies, they are running on coal-fired or in general thermal plants. So that involves transportation of fuel. If they can cut costs at least 10 to 20% on logistics, obviously their margins will improve. Same thing is applicable for heavy industries like cement or steel or such sectors also. And finally, the small logistics company. Now they may be suppressed because of the lack of wide network pan-India or outside India. But when NLP comes into an implementation, they could able to have a wider network and they can able to use a common platform for mobilization. Just in the case of UPI. Previously, people were looking for banks which has larger number of branches, because anywhere they go, they can be able to go to the branch and at least give a check and instantaneously they can withdraw money, or they can go to that branch and get the service, etc., etc. But when UPI came, even smaller banks, they could able to get connected, and majority of the services or core services they could offer at par with any bigger banks with a lot of branches. The same thing will be applicable in case of smaller logistics or transportation services company after the implementation of NLP. So try to locate the companies that are involved in these sectors, especially logistics companies there in the mid cap and small cap sector. They may get benefited out of this NLP. But don't think that NLP will be in force, will be implemented in a couple of months or anything. Though that's immediate effect, still a lot of works need to do. A very strong IT platform is needed. So don't expect the very next day onwards the benefits of NLP that you can reap. So that's all for now. See you in the next episode. Till then, bye from Anup.